Gary Hess, News Radio WRVA, the voice of Virginia.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is News Radio WRVA. Appreciate all of you spending time with us here on the program. So this is something we've been talking about for just a little bit. So again, full disclosure that I at one point worked for a company called Charlotte's Web. And I was the director of sports marketing, worked with them in Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball had bought a piece of the company that produced CBD. So I learned all about it, and it's something that's been approved for players to use. So I kind of have a good idea of what CBD is and what it's not. But there's someone who knows more about that, and that's our next guest coming up on the program. So here's the deal. CBD has been around for a little bit, and CBD is something that that can help kids with severe severe cases of epilepsy known as WRVA syndrome. CBD has been legal since the first Trump administration. Lisa White, correct? Lisa White has been available since the first Trump administration. But in our haste to get our retail marijuana shops up and running, the Commonwealth of Virginia, as of August 15th, will outlaw CBD, which means there's a lot of kids out there. One of them is the daughter of Lisa Smith, and she's joining us right now on News Radio WRVA. I want to follow up. We had her on a couple of weeks ago. I want to see where we are, if there's been any changes, if she's had any conversations with the governor's office or the General Assembly, because in just a couple weeks, her daughter is going to have to face a world where she's not able to use something that has restored her life, basically. And Lisa's joining us here on News Radio WRVA. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Want to follow up on this. So we reported this, and I think CBS 6 followed up, and they had a report last night that illustrated what your daughter could face without being able to use CBD. And again, CBD is a cannabinoid. It comes from the cannabis family. Has high. It comes from hemp, which has high CBD and very little THC in it. So it's not a hallucinogen. Where marijuana is the opposite, where it has a lot of THC that will get you high, very little CBD, which brings you back to homeostasis, which is what helps your daughter, so people understand the difference between the two. So, where are we since last we talked? And that's the brand name, the company that really introduced CBD into America about a decade ago. Okay, just so everybody knows, make sure everybody is up to date on this. Okay, so what happened? Yeah. Okay, so Lisa, real quick, explain to me your daughter's life with and without CBD, and what WRVA syndrome is, and what her life is like with the CBD and without the CBD. Did she go back to the thousands of seizures? So no, definitely not. Lisa Smith joining us right now, a very personal story about what happened in our General Assembly in the rush to legalize marijuana, retail marijuana shops. They wiped out a complete category of CBD for kids like her daughter that need it on a daily basis just to survive. And what you had were nefarious actors using loopholes to try to sell legalized marijuana by mixing it with some CBD and calling it CBD. So instead of going after those nefarious actors in their rush to legalize retail marijuana, they just wiped out the whole category and left people like this out to just a twist in the wind. And we're bringing this attention to the governor, to the General Assembly, and we've had a conversation with the assistant policy person from the governor's office, but no follow up. It seems rather callous just to kind of cavalierly go, well, just go get this instead. In order for us to get retail marijuana, that's basically what, folks, this boils down to. In their rush to get legal marijuana shops up and running in 2027, these children that rely on CBD are now just kind of being left out on the side of the road in our rush to get retail marijuana. And now you see the real life. That's, folks, that's why I talk about this all the time. What goes on in Capitol Hill and Capitol Square and in City Hall is not just policy, it has real world ramifications for someone like the Smith family, that they're just trying to keep their daughter alive. And because our General Assembly rushed this through because they were so hot and bothered to get retail marijuana shops up and running in 2027, they forgot about people like the Smith family, and their cavalier responses will go find something else. They don't understand the real world consequences of their votes. And the fact that I saw them high-fiving when they passed this budget and doing little dances as they walked out of the General Assembly is absolutely disgusting to me when I see the real world consequences of the Smith family. And I'm sure there's other families out there as well, that these budgets we pass are not just they're not just legislative votes and slates, and there's people that their daily lives are affected. And I'm not going to let go of this story, and I'm going to keep asking for the General Assembly. I'm going to keep bringing this up, and I hope the governor has the leadership to try to help your family before it's too late. All right, we're going to stay on top of this. We're going to keep asking questions. We're going to keep reaching out. We're going to keep this up because somebody needs to answer these questions, and we need to figure out. And again, I get it. And David, I'm going to go over a little bit here, but I just need to explain this to everybody. 25-1 meant that they were using a loophole in order to sell marijuana and package it as CBD. The CBD that Lisa's daughter needs has 25% CBD, 1% THC. Have I got that? But it's such a high 25-1, but it has such a high it has such a high volume of CBD because it's really intense amount of CBD in order to get enough to help her daughter. The THC level rises along with that, and they said, nope, you were getting rid of that in order to get rid of these nefarious actors. Now I'm going to harm these children. Yeah. We're going to keep on. But we do know what does. Yeah, we do know what does. All right. We're going to stay on top of this, Lisa. Thank you for the update. We'll check back in with you. All right. Take care. All right. Way over time. Let me go to break real quick. It's News Radio WRVA. Today's program is brought to you by Pearson Signature Deal.